Hello, everybody. Welcome to Tuesday. The S&P 500 was down 1.2% today. It was a pretty wild ride altogether. The market was down, rallied almost all the way back up and could have stayed in the positive, but fell right at the end. Obviously, the market is responding to the tariffs that effectively went into place today, 25% against Mexico, 25 on Canada, and 20% on China. So, it's one of those things where, are they real? Are they going to stay there? Not going to stay there? So then after hours, the U.S. Commerce Secretary, Howard Lutnick, came out and said that there may be some relief on the tariffs for both Mexico and Canada as early as tomorrow. So the after hours market was up quite a bit. And that's one of the problems with what we've got right now is you can't really tell, if tariffs are going to be here permanently and they're going to be at 25% on those two countries, for example, the market probably is going to go down, because we're going to have inflation, we're going to have a slowdown in the economy, you're going to have retaliatory tariffs, you're going to have all kinds of different things. If tariffs are here temporarily or for a very short period of time, probably becomes a buying opportunity for the market because the market will, move back up again as those tariffs are taken off or at least, reduced substantially. So, we don't know what's going to happen as far as that goes. I will say, when you look at downturns, you look at what happens with the market, say 2008, for example, 2008, we had a massive run up in the value of real estate. People were buying, they were lending money to anybody. And in their infinite wisdom, they started to sell insurance policies on these mortgages at the tune of $7 trillion worth. And so then when the mortgages start to default, these companies had to pay off on those insurance policies. And of course, they had to sell everything to make that happen. And it was sort of a structural failure, eventually leading to, the demise of Lehman Brothers, which really kicked the market down. So that's a real downturn. This is somebody deciding to do tariffs or not deciding to do tariffs. I mean, there are other parts of this. There's mass deportations and there's, deregulation and tax cuts and, the firing of federal workers and freezing of federal contracts. There's a lot of different things, some of which the market's going to look at positively, some of the market's going to look at negatively. But tariffs probably are not one of the ones that they're going to look at positively, especially at this level. And so at the same time, do we have tariffs? I mean, is it really there? And I think we're going to have to wait and see how that plays out as far as that goes. Trump, is famous for paying attention to the market. He looks at it as a scorecard for himself. But there's got to be some point in time where he says, okay, that's going to, be enough. And we're only down 5% from our high right now. So it's not enough to really say, hey, this is a spot that he's going to jump in. Although, maybe that's what's happening right now. They're responding to kind of what happened today to decide to reduce tariffs tomorrow. So, we'll see what goes on as far as that goes. But I suspect that if they were really serious about this, and especially using it as a strong negotiating tool, they'd let the market go down a bit more before they'd really step in. But we'll see. I mean, in 2018, the market dropped 19.6% on those tariffs. These tariffs are much bigger in terms of just size. But what happened in 2018 was somewhat unique in that not only were they raising tariffs about $350 billion worth, but also the Federal Reserve was raising rates, both of which would slow down the economy, in my opinion. So both of them stopped. They stopped raising tariffs, and the Federal Reserve actually started lowering rates. And the market did really well in 2019. So again, it would have been a buying opportunity. Tariffs are a little different. It's not a structural thing, potentially, unless it's permanent and really big. In my opinion. So, that's what we have to kind of wait and see what's going to happen there. So anyway, I think, there's going to be some relief. It looks like tomorrow. We'll see how that plays out. Certainly is going to create already, I think the threat of tariffs are going to create some type of slowdown. We were kind of hot for a while there. And so inflation was the big issue. So a little bit of slowdown is okay. Too much, obviously is going to be a problem. So we'll have to see what happens, in terms of what actually transpires. Companies aren't going to want to invest in projects in this type of uncertainty. They're trying to get people to come back and make manufacturing back in the U.S. That's fine, but that takes a really long time. There's a big lead time planning process. It takes forever to build these places, of course. And then, obviously with the potential for a 4-year, presidency here, who knows if the next group that comes in doesn't get rid of all these tariffs. And now you've got all these plants that cost more because the labor's higher. So it's not an easy situation to deal with as far as that goes. So I think, in that environment, you're going to see a lot of company lower forward guidance, which is exactly what happened, in this quarter's reports. And you're going to see a lot of companies kind of not doing as much capital expenditure until things settle down. Now, what that will do, it'll leave a lot of money on the sidelines that's accumulating because companies are still making a lot of money, then they might launch a bunch of different projects once things kind of get clearer here at some point in time. I suspect we won't see a lot of real visibility, for the first half of this year. Would be my guess, at least as far as that goes. So anyway, that's what's happening today. Again, let's expect some, hopefully some relief from some of the tariffs tomorrow that they came out with. So again, the market after hours is doing well. So we'll see what happens tomorrow. So look forward to talking to you then. Thank you very much.